Political fiction, $3 trillion babies, or how the Alpha Chthonic cell swiped a state legislature yet lost the economic motivation for jihad over time. Part 1. Shadows of 1,000 broken panes of glass were sliding cast from the more blunt and thicker edges. Political theorists arose from the gutters and walked those streets alone or with brothers in harm. Shapes of surveillance merged as political waveforms of apparitions or visions of the Magi. They thought of themselves as the Magi millennia after the Magi were created by Darius as wise perpetual guardians of the more sacred of tombs if the bones of the dead could be regarded as such. Those lost souls of Cairo and Baghdad, Tehran and Peshawar were alien life forms to profitable government bureaucrats living on money borrowed from the wealthy despots of second world governments. Yet for themselves they would try to know why the truth became enshrouded in transcending and inevitably corrupting macroeconomics, administered with a boot heel, and airborne robotic pterodactyl poems of death, descending like plagues upon doors marked with the atoning blood. Blood marked the lies broadcast like poison syrup to the ears of those that had no radio transmitter of their own. These were the herds of human cattle ruled by the terrible tyranny of abstract monetary value and the profit of pure evil. To individuals of different nations had discerned the power of the shadows cast by jigsaws, a broken glass over the mind of creative thought. Answers to liberty might be found in the negation of power, yet with the enemy of political aesthetic change, more violence was the answer that each drew from the patterns moving before them under the midday sun. Their violence would last like that of corporations and government institutions beyond the life of either. The nation rebuilding fiasco proceeded as planned. Alpha Chthonic budgeted suicide bombers from a nominal percent of profit skimmed with increases per barrel of light sweet crude oil sold in the market. Emerging oil billowing from broken wellheads in the Gulf of Mexico permitted a revision of anticipated price per unit upwards of barrels of oil and laundered cash in Mexico and OPEC member nations. Bin Laden and Bin Laden each received derivative portions, double portions, when times were good, as a result of the tightening of the screws of terror upon the infidels. The United States could not restrain itself from investing trillions abroad, $3 trillion in Afghanistan, with 100,000 injured. Military missions to bring democracy to nations with the potential for being governed by terrorists is an alternative. U.S. military missions abroad had indoctrinated international Muslim oil terrorist dependence on methods of American political and military responses to external jihadist challenges. The designer of terrorist operations, Ort bin Laden, sketched in the Lindisfarne plan for March missions after some considerable experience. One such plan filtered through to an ancillary Alpha Chthonic cell. Its March manifesto was one of terror and thrill for international operatives to read about in the National Security Agency and laugh over as another absurd pie in the sky put a man on the moon mission. As events developed, we learned that opinion was an error. The Alpha Chthonic cell cadre found they could never form a democracy, as nominally was the corporatist United States, without a military-industrial milieu serving as a kshatriya caste controller to proselytize the world with moral war. The Alpha cell therefore sought other means for advancing a politically empowering direction. Thus it was they chose to kidnap the Alaska state legislature, exfiltrate it abroad and hold it for ransom needed to finance future suicide bombings. It seemed a simple plan. Mission drift with no exit strategy had led other cells wrong before, though. Training in American mining colleges, the mining cadres purchased a small home near the Alaska state legislature and began a mining operation, tunneling under city streets in the state capital, several blocks to emerge under the legislature building. The dirt excavated was removed over months through a taco catering business, and dirt-filled garbage bags loaded into a delivery van and surreptitiously dumped into defilling muskeg. The day for the breakthrough and the floor arrived. A joint session of government was occurring with the governor scheduled to speak. Osama bin Laden ordered, "Abdul, bring the attack squad forward with AK-74s and full bandilleros. As rehearsed, we will break through the closet floor in the basement and surge above into the legislature, taking all infidels captive and killing fewer than 10% to show our credibility as serious jihadists worthy of negotiations with the U.S. State Department. On the count of 5, the false flower, fitted carefully Thursday night, was removed and the 15 Mufsidun warriors silently infiltrated through the dust into the state capitol building, wearing only Kevlar robes, sandals, and protective masks, dispersing CS gas and placing claymore mines with tripwires in select locations on the way. Bursting into the legislature, the politicians and guards were swiftly subdued, bound with hyper-bovine glue duct tape, and led to vans arriving in front, double parked at the state Supreme Court. Several orange cones were set into the middle of arriving boulevards to stop all the automobiles dead in the tracks. In several minutes, with sirens wailing and a gun battle running between the control detachment and two Alaska state troopers, the vans wheeled out, peeling rubbers to drive a few blocks south to the cruise ship of Wharf, where the hostages and Mufsidun leading fled. The vans moved swiftly aboard the largest ship, killing anyone in uniform they saw.